Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is UK Cowboys TV Season 1, Episode 65. And more specifically, it is, guys, the penultimate show to Season 1 and the final episode of our breakdown series. This week, looking at special teams. But to help me get through it all, we have the all-Celt class. So we've got double Scotland, we've got Ireland, and we've got Wales. But how are we all doing, guys? We all right?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Good. Yeah.
Doing good.
Yeah, we've
absolutely.
managed to. Yeah, well, you've been drinking whiskey, so you are going to be all right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I might get on some of that this weekend, actually. But yes, guys, this is officially the last proper show because next week's show is the final show, so we've got something special planned for that. But this is the last official, if you like, Cowboys talking show of Season 1. So sad, so sad. You all feeling all emotional right now? Paul's looking emotional.
And look at where we've come from.
I know.
I had a reminder yesterday or today coming up on Facebook about the mailbag. So I think it's actually a year ago since we did our first episode.
It is. We actually started the first episode of Season 1 when training camp started. So that will be right. Yeah. This time now we were doing all little videos and clips.
Yeah. The halcyon days.
Yeah. And we didn't have a clue what we would. Well, we still don't know what we're doing, but it just looks a little bit smoother now. It's like a duck on a pond.
Yeah. There's a lot of paddling underneath.
Will Zeke sign the deal? Will he hold out?
Yeah, there's all of that as well.
Yeah.
We found everything. That is going on as well.
Did Byron sign the deal?
Brian, don't. I'm in a good place.
Well, look, I'll put it like this to you. At least we got Lyell and Jalen re-signed.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Well,
Yep.
Lyell's a big bonus, man. Big bonus.
Yeah. After that last season he had, that was a brilliant signing.
19 still with us.
Yes. Yeah. He's still there.
Fair.
And
True.
after all off season, there was Graham telling us no.
I was bloody close as well.
I know you was actually.
And the fact that Cooper did take a reduced offer from other same for us, but turned down bigger offers.
Yeah. With the
I
Reds.
believe the Washington football team, Mike.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the Washington football team.
Oh, the Deadskins.
No, the Washington football team.
Oh, sorry, them. Oh, I completely forgot them. When were they established? 2020. They're a brand new team, right?
July 2020.
And what I like is the initials. Is that the initials are WTF?
So no. Oh no! It should technically it should be WFT, but people kind of switched it a bit.
Yeah.
The Washington team of football. But guys, as we mentioned, camp is starting this week. So yes, when we kick off next week with the final shows, camp will be in full swing. Just to go over some news though, that's kicked off over the last week. So first of all the rookies have signed. So that's good news. Everybody signed, sealed, delivered, ready to go. Anton Woods has signed an extension. So the human log is here for a little bit longer. We'll break some more news into that signing next week. Tyrone Crawford and Dontari Poe both have been put onto PUP. Basically from injuries from last year, still rehabbing, got to get back up to speed, fitness, all the rest of it. So they can, because they're on PUP, return at any time, though. Remember that. During camp, they can just walk straight in. And away we go. Jordan Chun, the running back, and Garrett Marino, who was taken as an undrafted free agent this year, they've both been waived. So I think Marino's been put down as football non-related illness. So make that what you will. Yeah. In terms though of illness, John V. Johnson has tested positive for COVID. I don't know whether he's tested positive or what have you, but they've done a test. He's been sent home, so he won't be reporting to camp while he's in his lockdown. In other news, away from the Cowboys, Myles Garrett signed a huge contract, breaking the set in the market. Only then for the Chargers to come along with Joey Bosa and then reset the market again. So 2 huge deals going on away from the Cowboys. But then also on top of things to confound it all, we've had the opt-outs going on as well. We've had 2 Cowboys opt-out already. We got cornerback Maurice Kennedy, who we spoke about last week, ironically. And wide receiver Stephen Goodry has opted out as well. 2 guys fairly low down in terms of what's going on around the league. That's not too bad, especially if you look at what the Patriots are going through. They're not going to have a team by the time Cam kicks off at this rate.
Thanking for Trevor.
I know, yeah.
Fuck the Patriots.
Yes, but that is the opt-out situation. I know you got some take on that, Graham, have you, with the opt-outs? What have you got for us?
Yeah, you just got to wonder, how high could this go? You know, could a starting QB pull out of their contract? I know it's a huge amount of money, but it would leave a team in absolute turmoil, especially when there's hardly any camp. There's no preseason whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine starting week 1 of the season with an untried rookie? Yeah. It would be absolutely horrible. I mean, I think you have to look at the Patriots situation. Would those guys have pulled out if Tom Brady was still their QB? You've got to ask the question. But it would be strange to see a QB turn down his salary for the year. But stranger things have happened, and you just wonder.
That's true.
I've just got a counter argument for you there, Graham. Dak Prescott was a rookie when he first started.
Yeah, but he had 9 behind him.
I know. I just thought I'd dig that in there, but sorry, man.
But yeah, I mean, you just wonder how high it will go. We've been lucky so far, but there's been some season starters pull out of their contracts.
It'll be quite interesting what happens as the season progresses as well with all of this. You know, will players get twitchy fingers, and itchy feet and decide that they want to, pull the trigger on their season,
Yeah, definitely. But here's my issue about this whole situation. The NFL aren't really helping that much to kind of calm their mindset about the whole thing. If not, it's making all these players' anxiety go through the bloody roof. Like, should I play? Should I not play?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. It's going to be quite an eye opener on the season to see what is going to be like and going on. And we was talking just before the show about fantasy because of players opting out. What it's going to be like for fantasy football this year, I think, is just a headache. I think whoever's the winner of this year's fantasy football leagues, wherever they are, you need to put a little asterisk next to the winner. I think you're going to have to go with that because it's literally, as much as a crapshoot as fantasy football can be, I think it's even more so this year because of the question marks surrounding it all.
Might start diving into fantasy ice hockey then.
Yeah, fantasy baseball. Fantasy baseball. I've had to go at fantasy baseball. Honestly, it's a nightmare. It's literally, you may as well just stand there with darts and go, yeah, there we go.
There you go, fantasy darts.
Fantasy darts.
Social distancing game at its best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Scottish world champions.
We should chug a pint and we can throw a dart, no problem.
Right, but anyway, guys, let's get into the special teams in our positional breakdown series and finish the series off. I've quite enjoyed it, mine, guys. It's quite fun going through it all and going through the roster in depth, looking at all the little positions. And anybody watching, if you haven't watched the previous episodes, just go back, look at breakdown series. We've gone through every single position from quarterback, and we're all the way into now special teams. Just, you got anything to add or, questions, just send it in the comments and we'll do the best we can. But first of all, let's look at probably a guy on the roster who has been on the Dallas Cowboys probably since its inception. I mean, he's got to be like, what is he now, like 139 years old or something?
I heard he fought in the Civil War, even though he's Canadian.
Tell you what, I know he's got one of the best jawlines a man could have.
He is very chiseled. But this guy, we all know who we're talking about. It is, of course, the Cowboys' long snapper, LP. 39. This is.
I love the fact we're not trying to pronounce his surname here.
I don't even
Ladouceur.
Yeah. It's got, like you say, Canadian, so it's got that French zing to it.
Yeah.
You know? But this is, in fact, his 16th year in the league.
You should go out for an R10.
Yeah, I think that's more Brady, isn't it?
No, Brady won his first Super Bowl in 2002, wasn't it? So he's been in the league 20 years, I think, at this stage.
It was 2001 that Brady got drafted, wasn't it?
2000 or 2001. I'm not sure exactly which one. But I think this is his 20th season.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is bonkers.
At QB as well.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, at QB, so quite a demanding position. A lot of tackles going in. Go on, sorry, Bri.
But he's no Adam Vinatieri. That man played for the whatever the Amsterdam team was in the World League. Yeah, there you go. Back in 94, 95, and he's still playing today.
Don't forget Kurt Warner as well.
True. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I shared a post on the UK Cowboys, and it was a computer game, and on it was Adam Vinatieri, and it's like proper, like 8-bit players, you know. Oh yeah, and there's his name, kicker Adam Vinatieri, and it's like, yeah, he was around when this game was around, you know, when it was like on the Sega Mega Drive or whatever it was.
Classic.
You gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. But yeah, he's on a 1-year deal, LP, 1.8 million, free agent as of from next year. But I think it's safe to say, in terms of LP in his consistency of what he does, I think he's probably the most consistent player on the Cowboys roster. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I know what was funny is a lot of people say, well, he's a long snap. All he's got to do is throw the ball.
It's not. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah, you'd be surprised the intricacies of long snap in that he knows by where he's holding the ball and when he spins it, that when Chris Jones, who obviously is the holder in for the Cowboys, that ball, when it reaches him and he puts the balls down, the laces are already out.
Yeah.
That's an art.
If you think about it, an inch off the line of scrimmage, higher or lower, it's only going to magnify once it gets to where it's going. So it's
like traffic cone.
It's huge pressure. It's not like you just throw the ball between your legs and because as soon as you've done it, you've got to explode up and try and live after it's coming to land on your face.
Well, the thing is with sometimes with long snappers, I can't remember what the exact rule is, but in the British leagues, you're not allowed to touch the long snapper technically.
That's true.
You're not allowed to touch them, but but what LP does as well, like sometimes he can like if things don't go all to plan. See if it's a fake play or something like that, which we've rarely done, I don't think. Over these
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is a certain someone who the Cowboys had this year who... Oh, my God. The dog's still in the room. I jumped a mile. I seen it over my shoulder on camera.
Man.
Get that timestamped. 25 minutes.
Okay.
Next week will be interesting.
I'd like to cast my vote on my new favourite part of this show. When Mike shits himself.
I jumped a mile. I seen it over my shoulder. I was like, have I got a ghost or is someone coming through the window? But yeah, we'll get to the fake plays in a moment. But there is another guy on the Cowboys roster who's a long snapper, Joe Fortunato, who's 26 on this is officially his first year in the league from Delaware. He was taken in the 6th round by Indianapolis in 2017, then waived.
Actually drafted?
He was drafted in the 6th round,
Yeah.
And just immediately waived. So, yeah. And since then, he spent time out the league. Cowboys then picked him up this year, I think, in April. Yes. So that is our long snappers.
Here's a question. Do you think this could be a scenario where LP this could be his last ever season?
I don't know. It could very well be.
And teaching the young one the way, like the proper how to do things type of thing.
I don't think so, because in the last 3 or 4 camps we've always brought in a long snapper, and I think it's Drew Scott was his name. And he spent the whole of camp working with LP, but I think LP is just it's up to him to say I don't want to play anymore, because he's just been so consistent.
Yeah.
Over the I think he made a mistake. He had a penalty.
That was a bullshit mistake. Though.
It was a bullshit call, but that was the first mistake he'd made in years. And that shows how consistent he has been and how reliable he has been for us.
That is true. Yeah. I mean, the thing is he is, believe it or not, on a 2-year deal. So that's interesting. So he will be on the roster next year if the Cowboys decide to keep him. And he's only about $600K on the cap. So it's not a great deal. But they are the long snappers on our team that you need to be watching. Really, LP, we know what's going on. So really, more than anything, it's his backup, Joe, we need to be looking at throughout camp to see what's going on there. Next on our hit list is one of Brian's favourite players who we spoke about throughout the season, is our punter, the Punisher, Mr. Chris Jones. Now he
Punters are people.
Punters are people. That is very true. He is 31. This is his 9th year in the league from the University or College of Carson Newman. He is in the 3rd year of a 4-year deal. This year, 2.4 mil on the cap. Next year, that goes up a little bit again. But what is everyone's take on Chris Jones? Not just as a punter, right? But as a tackler, a passer, and a holder.
Seeing as you mentioned me, I'll go first.
Go on.
The role of Chris Jones this year is actually going to be vastly different from the role we've seen previously. And that all comes from John Fassel being a special teams coordinator. If you look at it, the perennial all-pro punter in the league has been Johnny Hecker. And that's because Johnny Hecker has thrown, he's taken fake punts, he's punted the ball and absolutely laid the wood on the returning player. So I think you're going to see a different Chris Jones than we have for the last couple of years. His numbers have been dropping in terms of his average distance. But I think it was just a case of we all knew every time Chris Jones was coming in, there wasn't going to be anything exotic. There was not going to be any fake plays or something that's going to get you out of your seat. It was like Dan Bailey a couple of years ago. You went for your toilet break, or you went to turn the kettle on because you knew what was happening.
That is true. And here's an interesting one, because you mentioned about the fake plays as well. Because we have the new special team coach in Fassel, who literally he loves to fake play on the punt, especially. Something I think that you can't deny Chris Jones does have is a deceptive acceleration and top end speed.
Oh yeah,
it is deceptive. So in terms of if they wanted to send Chris in to instead not pass the ball maybe, but just go on a break, wheel around and run with the ball, this is something he could do. And I think you're right, Brian, that you're going to see a different type of Punisher this year in terms of going for a run and going out of bounds. I can see it a few times happening, and it's something that they need to be watching for.
Yeah, it is. And I, as you say, in terms of a run, I think you're not going to be afraid to see of Chris Jones being afraid to take the ball on and go in and put the shoulder down and actually look to make yards. I don't think you're going to see him go, oh shit, where's the sideline? I think you're going to see him look for contact and go at people and try and go over people. He's deceptively fast, as we've seen from the number of times he's nearly played gunner at times on special teams because players have got tied up, and when he has, he's absolutely smashed guys. He's up there with Pat McAfee in terms of the tackles he's put in on players and broken up.
Doesn't have the celebration after it when he does it though.
Yeah. he doesn't care. It's just literally like, I do this all the time.
Yeah.
He's all about business.
Business. Yeah.
The only thing I think that will concern people, I don't know what your take is on this, Gray, was statistically his average yards per punt last year were the lowest they've been in his career. Do you think perhaps that's a lot of due to the amount of times he had to go out in the field and do his punting, or because they were so far back?
I'd like to see how far the carrier got as well. I mean, does that include from the catch point, or does it? Who knows? I mean, the only thing is, I think once you've had 9 years of experience kicking, you kind of I mean, is it 3 years into a 4-year deal? So he's kind of, it's one of those positions where they're kind of a dime a dozen. So if your punter or your kicker's not working out for you, just go and get another one. If the consistency does start to drop, they won't hesitate. But being the 3 years into a 4-year deal, they must like what they see. Obviously, it's a brand new coaching team coming in. So if they feel that you can't pull off what they expect, like you guys were saying about the special team trick plays, if they feel that, I mean, he's the wrong side of 30 now. Is he slowing down a little bit? Who knows? We never really got to see it all that much. So, but I think I've been a 9-year pro. He's kind of quite consistent. So long as the numbers don't drop too far, I don't think. But like you say, he was called upon a fair bit last year. So I think once you can't be perfect all the time. But I think he's there for a reason. He's been with us for a long time for a reason. The consistency is there, and I don't think the numbers will drop that too much. I think he'll not have a bounce back year, but he won't get any worse.
Yeah.
But like you guys were saying, we could see a whole new side to him that we've never seen before. So long as Mike McCarthy lets it go, I would imagine McCarthy would have the final say.
Yeah, of course.
Is he a big trick guy? Don't know.
Yeah, I mean that will be how Fassel sesses him out, really.
Exactly. But I mean, that's the perfect time to call it a fake punt when nobody's expecting it. So who knows?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, let's go on to our kickers. Now, I say kickers because believe it or not, the Cowboys are carrying 2 kickers. So last year we had what should we call it? We'll call it the Brett Maher roller coaster fun ride experience.
This is why I wear baseball caps all the time to hide my bloody hairline.
Now, bear in mind, Brett Maher is in the Hall of Fame, but we later on in the season decided enough was enough, and we picked up an old Cowboys favourite, Mr. Kai Forbath. Now, he is still on the roster. He's 32, 7th year in the league, undrafted free agent by the Dallas Cowboys in 2011. He's still on the hook this year for $800,000. Now, the other guy who he's going up against is Greg, a.k.a. The Leg, Zerline. Now, he's from the Rams, so we were just talking about Fassel. So this is somebody where there's already a link. And bear in mind, Zerline, 32, 9th year in the league, drafted in the 6th round by the Rams. The Cowboys have decided already to give Greg a 3-year deal worth $7.5 million. He's 1.8 on the cap 1.8 million on the cap this year.
So it's quite a lot for a kicker when you think about it.
Oh yes, which is the point. So I think if you just look at the figures, you can see what they were already doing in the decision making. Yeah. But here's my question to you all: is that definitive, or do you think that the kicking battle, which is going to happen in the camp and pre-season, the kicking battle right now is on?
I would say so. I mean, this is probably going to be what? Do you not think so, Brian?
No. Contract is too big.
Contract is big.
It's Zerline's job.
But how much is guaranteed though?
There's it's quite significant. I think it's at least 60% odd. So I think it's gonna cost us more to get rid of him than his cap hit this year.
All right.
Yeah, I think when I was looking at his contract, you've got an out after this season with Greg, but I think this year would be quite expensive.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, then do you think teams might be, depending on what the scenario where other teams are, there's a possible trade?
Well, the other thing, Possibly. Think having
not for Forbath, I mean.
You know, I see where you're going, but what I was more thinking of is having the two kickers at camp. I think last year, if you remember, Brett Maher was in camp on his own as a kicker. He had no competition. And I think a lot of the failures of what you've seen with Brett was the fact that he was never pushed.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit on the fence between the two guys. I'm gonna say yes, there is a kicking competition, but I would be amazed if Forbath made the team. Because to spend that amount of money on a guy that Fassel's already worked with. I mean, they call him Greg the Leg for a reason. I mean, I like Forbath. He came in and he was a breath of fresh air.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Goodness, was he a breath of fresh air. But just with the contract, you can't argue with Zerline's numbers. I think it will be he's gonna have to wobble, and Forbath's gonna have to nail it.
And I think really what the deciding factor, you could say without looking at everything, just look at the contract and you say it. But if you look at in terms of their abilities, you just mentioned there, Greg, the leg. I think when it comes to Greg Zerline, he beats Kai Forbath in somewhat. We'll look at the statistics now, but in just what he can do is his kickoffs. He's got a much better kickoff. He can kick that ball dead better than Kai Forbath can. And I think that will be a deciding factor. And it's a little pointer as well that gets overlooked.
Yeah, it's not so much just field goals. It's sort of like special teams, kick return, kick off, punt return, punt.
Yeah,
it's everything. Even
last man too.
Even special teams for the defensive side, like having your whole wall to try and block the ball. There's different situations for that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the fact that Zerline was on the open market isn't necessarily the case that he wasn't a good kicker anymore. I think the Rams have got some serious cap issues. And they saw an opportunity to get some of that back by letting Zerline go.
Well, totally. The Rams have completely screwed themselves. Making all these ridiculous.
Still don't have Ramsey signed.
Yeah. No,
shut up. Really?
No.
Yeah. He's not signed beyond the season.
And
Paul, they don't even have they don't
have a first round pick for
Adams
5 years.
Adams has got 1 year left on his deal? 2?
Yeah,
Jamal Adams 2.
Jamal Adams 2, yeah. So he can play 2021 and that's it.
Incredible. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know how these GMs have still got jobs. 100%.
I think the Rams.
Yeah, I tell you one thing. What did I say on Twitter about Jamal Adams? I knew that was going to happen. I knew it.
Unreal.
Oh, and just to go back to one other thing as well, Greg Zerline, if we were to cut him this season, he would cost us nearly $2.5 million in dead cap.
Yeah.
So that's
no unless there is a trade, which is kind of unlikely. But this is the kind of thing I'm thinking now. Is like this could be one of the best kicking battles within a team we've had for a long, long time.
Yes, I definitely think that in terms of the kicking battle, that Kai Forbath is definitely worth keeping around during camp to help spur on, because one of the issues why Zerline, you can say about the Rams cap issues, which are astronomically wild, and what they've done with their trades and everything, which is what's suckered the cap in really for them. One of the big things is on Zerline's statistics is, once again, we'll mention it, that last year his field goal accuracy was one of the lowest in his career last year. It was 72%. Dan Bailey, who we cut, had a far better season. Brett Maher, we won't say his name ever again.
Oh,
Graham's face. Every time I mention Brett Maher, you just see the face, you see the colour drain.
You've got to wonder what they were doing. You really, think of the kickers.
If you mention Brett Maher again, I'm changing this light to this.
We no longer have to talk about him again. We are.
Get some. Why didn't they just go and get somebody off the street like Forbath?
Me? Why not get me? I can kick the ball.
Ironically, years ago, right? I don't know if you remember, like in like the 2000s and the 90s. That's how the Cowboys got their kickers.
Yeah.
Their kickers were like guys off the street. Like they go to Walmart and just be like, "Can you kick a ball? Let's see how you do." That's literally how they done it.
He was infuriating. I said during the season, he would nail the 50-yard field goal and miss the extra point.
Yeah, that's
unbelievable.
True.
And like, do we forget we actually had a better kicker than Maher on our squad for most of the season last year?
Yeah, forget it.
Yeah. But ironically, he probably was, which is what's crazy. But that is, of course, our kickers. The accuracy, as we say, is a concern. But the good news is having Forbath around is worth every penny in terms of helping light a fire under Zerline's ass, if you like, or under his foot, is really what we need to do.
His leg.
Or his leg, yeah.
Do we have a third?
No.
We had Tristan Vizcaíno, but right. I think he's been waived at this stage.
He's still listed in the NFL site. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just a name there. I think he might have been in last season as well during training camp.
He's got a Bengals uniform on in the photograph, so that went well.
Yeah.
This is going to sound crazy, right? And depends what we do, right? I don't see us keeping two kickers at all, but I'm just running this wild idea as you've got one kicker for kickoffs and one kicker for point and for field goals.
Now you really
specialize
in the kicking department.
Hence the whole
Yeah. But on the reverse side of the kicking game, we had Tavon Austin and Lance Lenore both leave, right? Both guys.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, in one sense, but one of the issues is they were both good returners. So let's look at the returning options for the Cowboys, which is really what this show is about. So I don't know what you guys have nailed down. I've nailed it or narrowed it down to 3 possibilities. One of them more so on punts than the other 2. So I've got my 3 as Tony Pollard, Jordan Lewis, and CeeDee Lamb. Now, people will talk about the CeeDee Lamb thing. All I will say to you is YouTube right now, CeeDee Lamb punt return, and watch that guy break free.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
People need to remember as well, Des Bryant did the exact same thing.
Yeah, and Antonio Brown did it for the Steelers.
Yeah, so it's perfectly fine to have like a first round draft pick to do these things. And plus it just gives him more game time experience. This is still running with the ball and still working on his footwork in terms of dodging tackles and that. So, but aye.
Yeah.
I know it makes sense, and I know it's happened before, and Bryant did extremely well at it, but there's a siren goes off in my head when you have your first round pick on a fully guaranteed contract catching punts. I can't get on. It would be a great option. I just can't get on board with it. I'd rather have Lewis or Pollard doing it. In terms of value to the team, I think he's too valuable.
Yeah,
he's too valuable.
I'm fully with Graham on that as well. Like, your first round pick is your first round pick. You don't put him on the field as a special teams player. You have Tony Pollard, who is known and has always been a punt returner and a kickoff returner, and has a history of returning 4 touchdowns. I think in his last season in Memphis said he had 4 or 6 returns for touchdown. He's a 4th round pick. There's a reason he was a 4th round pick, and that's why he should be your returner. You don't risk a 1st round pick at that.
But I'm going to contradict myself though, and say that it might be Lamb's biggest contribution to the team if he does. Because like I've said a few times now, there's only one ball in offense.
Yeah,
you're going to have 19 and 13 with the majority of the catches. If we can get 88 involved a little bit more in any opportunity.
It sounds so weird saying that.
I know, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And Dan, don't forget, 89 has to get a lot of targets as well.
Oh,
yeah.
He's competing for targets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe if you could guarantee me that Lamb would last the season, I'm all for it. But you've got some awful big guys coming down to take his head off.
Yeah.
And they want nothing more than to do it to a rookie.
Oh yeah. Welcome to the league and all that. But I'm in agreement with you guys that I actually quite like Tony Pollard returning punts. When I've looked at
it's the most logical sense. It's the most logical.
Yeah.
In terms of cost-wise for the team and ability-wise, he can probably do the exact same. Well, not as good as CD, but he can still do a good solid job.
I'm telling you, but Tony Pollard, he's taken kicks all the way to the house. He's taken them all the way back, and not just like on an off chance. He's done it repeatedly.
Yeah,
and I said to you, watch CD Lamb's, YouTube CD Lamb returning kicks. Do the same with Tony Pollard, and that guy, like there's that scene in Forrest Gump when they give him the ball and they go run, and he just leaves the team in the dust. That is what it's like watching Tony Pollard returning kicks.
He's not bloody robotic when he's running.
No, not so much robotic, but just the way he leaves everyone standing.
So you're saying you want Lamb to catch it and then put it in Pollard's chest plate, and then he runs with it?
Can I just interject for a second? So I have a glass of water here, and I'll just see if I can hold it up. So it's Bubba Grump shrimp.
It's an omen. That's an
there
omen.
You go.
How ironic.
I like that. But let's go on the defense side of kicking then, right, guys? So first of all, I want to go to kick blockers. So the first guy that I looked at that immediately sprung to mind, based on his size and athletic ability for blocking kicks, that I reckon is a nice little way to contribute straight away, is a guy we drafted this year, Reggie Robinson. I think that guy fits the bill, standing in the back, blocking kicks over the top. I don't know what you guys think.
Possibly. I think he's definitely going to be involved on special.
He's not going to be in the centre of because you've got your defensive lineman for that.
No, yeah. I mean,
but in terms of trying to curve your way back in to trying to deflect it, definitely. Yeah. Like Reggie Robinson for sure. That would be the most logical sense.
Yeah, a nice little fitter.
But even if anything, and this is if we do get him reinstated, I would still put Randy Gregory right on the very edge because he's got the speed for it.
Yeah.
That's funny you say that. I put him down, and the other guy that I've looked at was, again, a guy we drafted this year. So this is where things start clicking into place, is Bradley and I. Because of the way he corners. His cornering ability. You stick him on the outside edge.
And this is the thing, though. You're not up against an offensive lineman. You could be up against a tight end as the the very last blocker with Finn there, because there's more than
Depends
5.
Yeah. Whether in max protect.
You're not, like, exactly, like if you in a field goal, it's not 5 linemen. It's pretty much
10. Yeah.
Because you've got your placeholder and your kicker, so it's 9. You've got 9 blockers, and obviously two each side, and your actual line as well, including your long snapper. So the centre gets taken out. That's the most logical way of doing your special teams for kicking. But in terms of the two other sides, sometimes it could be a wide receiver doing a block who probably doesn't know how to figure out blockers. All they're trying to do is have to dip down and just extend the arms out to stop them from blocking. But if you're up against a really quick defensive lineman that can slap that hand away and rip through, we'd be fucking stupid to think that he's not going to reach that ball in time.
Yeah.
Telling you about it, but that's a great shout. That.
Yeah. As soon as I seen it, I thought Bradley Knight, there's cornering ability, and he's so rapid on his break that's why when I seen it in the draft, I was like, ping, straight away.
And not just that, not to sound like a complete douche, but if I was Bradley and I was up against a wide receiver, sometimes
you know where it's going.
No. It's not so much going for the ball. See if it's a simple field goal from 20 yards and that. Is, you know what? I might put a wee dent in this wide receiver, put a wee dent in this tight end, so therefore he might know what to come in the field next time.
That's it. Yeah.
This is me being a defensive mind. I'm
100%.
Yeah. You need to be a prick sometimes on the field.
No, you
need to be.
Sometimes you've got to throw dirt in the eyes. Definitely.
Call it dirty, but.
It's like that old Bill Parcells saying, "You'd be like liverwurst on rye."
Yeah. So, I mean, the other guy, of course, was Randy Gregory. You already beat me to that, Paul. That guy is built for special teams, not just in field goal, but punt as well. On that side of the game.
Whenever he is out on the field, you could
disrupt.
His presence alone. When every get off you see him, it's that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was it 2 seasons ago, where we managed to get him on for a couple of games of that season?
Yeah.
The impact he made in that game, and he just threw Jameis Winston like a rag doll that day, and stripped the ball, and Jalen took it down to the house that day. That he was just by far the standout for that whole game was Randy Gregory.
Agreed. I was trying to keep up to date with the Randy Gregory situation. I'll have to send some messages out again to find out what's going on there.
Jane Slater, can you hear us?
I will send some messages out. Then, of course, the next set that we were going to look at on special teams are your gunners. Now, for me, we've already got Anthony Brown, but here's a guy that's already done it and with great success in the league that he's been totally overlooked is CJ Goodwin.
Yeah.
He's already done it with good success in the league. So to me, I don't know what you guys think. The only other guy who I think could possibly do it based on his speed ability is Chris Westry. But I don't know if you guys have got any other takes of plays you would like to see as a gunner for special teams.
It's certainly Goodwin's best chance of making the team.
Yeah, definitely.
To be quite honest. He's not getting on the field as wide receiver, not this year.
Yeah. I don't see Westry getting in either.
It just really depends, though.
Yeah,
it depends on composition. Yeah,
I think your potential 2 gunners, CJ Goodwin is definitely one.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Lewis is another.
There's another.
And I think Reggie Robinson is another that you're looking at. That it's just, especially for Reggie Robinson, they want to get him into the team and figure him out. See, right, what works with this guy? Where's he going to fit into our team? I sort of said it last week. I could see him sitting under Clinton Dix, potentially for a bit of safety. But he could play a bit of corner. He could play a bit of slot corner on nickel packages, and it's just trying to find his position and where he fits into the team. But they'd be the 3 I'd look at.
Okay. I didn't think of Jordan Lewis. I don't mind that shout. Maybe a bit small for it, but certainly he can get up there quick enough. I just wonder with Reggie Robinson. I'm with you that I see him as more of that slot hybrid type of receiver they're going to be using, that dances in between. Covering the tight end, covering the slot, playing into the box a little bit. I just wonder if he's fast enough to be able to play gunner. I need to see him a bit more on the field to see what he's like in pads with speed,
Just to throw this out, with the cancellation of pre-season, do you guys think it's? It must be a huge blow for the rookies and the early
Big
year
time.
type players.
Yeah.
Do you think that dents their chances before they've even put a helmet on?
Some of them, yeah, because
it's got to, doesn't it? It's really, really poor timing to be a rookie, an undrafted rookie in particular.
Definitely, and like the thing is as well is, I think the NFL need to be doing more in being able to support the ones that aren't going to be able to do anything to prove themselves, to say, look, because of what's going on with the virus, this is what we'll do for you. This is like a retention package so you can come back next year. Chances are still there. And also as a way that I think that because you got to bear in mind, they need to do cuts already. I don't know if you've seen, but
they need to get down to 80, isn't it?
Yeah, already. They've said, nope, that's so
crazy.
Yeah, so and that's why there's the likes of what we've seen already with Jordan Chun and Marino already going. Players opting out helps as well. I don't know if that counts towards them coming off the roster. I would imagine it does.
Yeah.
That's why I was amazed that any undrafted wide receiver picked up the phone to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
because they have literally no preseason to flash.
But I wonder if that's maybe their agent telling them to do that, to say, look, if you opt out, you won't get cut, so you still have a chance to come back next year.
True. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that going on. But
do any of you guys know if they opt out, does this year count on their contract?
I'm sure there's got to be some special clause, and not just to kind of
they'd have to put something in. It'd be like a red shirt year or whatever.
Basically,
because I know in terms of Randy Gregory, he's still on his rookie contract, even though his rookie contract finished at the end of 2018.
Because he hasn't incurred seasons. Because he hasn't.
Yeah.
It's based on incurred seasons.
Yeah.
So, but I would imagine with the opt out, it's a bit of that force majeure going on, So it's it's not their fault, You'd think that in any other circumstance they wouldn't opt out; they'd try and play. So there is that.
Well, here's the thing, right? And it's kind of touching on what Graham was saying earlier, in terms of big players opting out. I mean, the Patriots have had some big players opt out.
Hightower's gone out now.
Dante Hightower, there's the prime example.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the cap is going to be reduced next year. So
they've kind of made a deal, the NFL. Yeah. So the floor is going to be 175. That's the very, very minimum, based on obviously because it's based on TV deals and rights and advertising, the rest of it, what they make in terms financially. That could raise back up. So some are even estimating that next year the cap could be around about where it is now anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're making the choice next season and going, right, I have say we'll take Dante Hightower, say he's out of contract. Are you going to re-sign him to a contract after knowing he took a year out and still took money? Yeah, I wouldn't be very happy about doing that. It's like, why did you leave us in the lurch? I accept the players are totally able to make their own decision, but if I'm a front office, how am I going to react to it?
Just for any listeners that don't know, it's Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung.
That's a big one. That's
huge.
A big one.
Brandon Bolden. Brandon Bolden's got a couple of rings. Marcus Cannon, Danny Vitale, and Najee Toran.
Yeah.
So particularly three of them, they are solid starters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look, Patrick. He was part of that whole. If you look at the Patriots' defense last year, they were right at the top in takeaways.
Yeah. It was Chung and Gilmore were the two standouts on that back end
that were helping to do that.
Yeah.
So they are big parts in that. I know we've wavered slightly, but that is for the special teams. A look at what we predict and what could go ahead with the special teams. With the way things are, of course, we could be miles off. The kickers we spoke about, neither of them could be on the roster by the time kickoff happens, and we don't know what's going on. But I'm going to leave you all talk this one out now. I'm just going to load the gun, fire the bullet. Is the NFL's top 100. Go.
Oh. Well, we know it's a bag of shit.
Clicks, likes, comments, and shares, and nothing else.
There you go.
Utter nonsense.
It's all about the hashtags and the interaction, because it's
fucking shite.
Okay. All right. So let's try and break this down then, right?
What's the way to break down? What's the breakdown?
What's wrong with the top 100 then? Tell me, what's wrong with it?
Well, the fact that Quentin Nelson ahead of Zach Martin. Get the fuck.
Agree.
Paul has absolutely stolen my point. The fact that Zach Martin was at 55 and the blurb that they wrote up on him was 6-time All-Pro, first or second team. This guy is going to Canton, Ohio. Quentin Nelson has had a good season on a bad team. How are those guys 26 great places apart? Like, I know Nelson plays as a left guard and is probably the best left guard in the league. Zach Martin is without doubt the best right guard in the whole league. He opens up what is essentially the A gap that every running back goes through. Quentin Nelson doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm. And should Zeke be at least in the top 20?
Well, he's better than Derrick Henry, who's in the top 10.
And here's one that made me laugh.
Wait, what?
Here's another one. Here's another one in the NFL top 100 that's going to blow your mind, right?
I fucking hate this.
So at number 49 is Amari Cooper. At number 46 is Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay. But at number 43, better than both of those, Mr. Handoff, Jimmy Garoppolo. The guy who threw
what do we do with that?
Yeah, the guy, this is a quarterback who threw 3 passes in the NFC Championship game. It's apparently better than Dak and Amari.
I'm racking my brains. There was a player in the top 100 a couple of seasons ago who missed this season, and he was still in the top 100.
Was it Odell?
He never even played,
No,
and they put him in the top 100.
Yeah. I think it was Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Or had played something like one game during the season.
Yeah.
Do you know, it was ridiculous.
Well done, Odell. The way you drank that Gatorade, unbelievable. The technique.
Yeah. I mean, the technique he had in taking out that kicker's net back in the
day. There is a reason why they leave the top 100 to the middle of spring and summer, because the conversation about the NFL takes a dive after the draft because nothing's happening. So the NFL Network lodge it in there to create some kind of controversy, discussion point. You know, why is he above him? Why isn't he in it? I despise it.
It's the same goes with the Madden ratings. It's the exact same. It's a pile of shit. Like, don't get me wrong, mate. McCaffrey is a good running back, but he's not bloody 99.
No.
Well, I'll add on to that, Paul. It's amazing that you see these guys at the evaluators at training camp, and you can see it in Hard Knocks. You see them. Oh, should his hands not be 89? Should this guy not have an 80 for speed? How about you go and make the team instead of talking to the Madden evaluators? Oh, it really gets under my skin. Oh, it's a football game. Come on.
Here's the crazy part is they make such a big fuss about the Madden ratings. You don't hear that over here with FIFA.
No.
Nobody gives a fuck.
So you don't like the Madden ratings, go into the editor and change it. It's as simple as that.
It's like you just go for the list, Tyron Smith. Bear in mind, one of the, the diamond, if you like, in the crown of the Cowboys O-line. He's 78th.
Yeah. I mean, you'll all have seen it. Most of the listeners have seen it as well. The guys that...
I lost interest after Zeke. I don't even know who in the fucking top 20 is. And the fact that you just mentioned Derek Henry, fuck.
Go on, Graham.
I can't go for this fish.
You should go into YouTube. You won't take long to find it. The guys that make their running backs like 7 foot tall, weigh 350 pounds with 99 speed, and they just run up the middle of the field like bulldozers. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's silly. It really is silly.
So I mean, the fact Tyron Smith is at 78. I mean, come on.
It is funny.
He hasn't been the great Tyron Smith over the last couple of years because of injuries, but come on, how can you have the premium and best left tackle in the league that badly disregarded that he's
not
barely
even in the top 50?
I mean, it just shows that as well as this is all about ratings, it just goes to show this is all about the flashy positions. It's not about the guys that are getting down and dirty that absolutely win you games and don't get talked about.
Yeah. Well, Tyron Smith, I think, going off memory, he's there, and then a couple of spots above him then is Alvin Kamara. And you're like, I'm trying to what are you saying? They match together in their position of ability. That's where this is nowhere near. You're not making any sense.
That one's kind of bizarre. They don't give it their own rate. I think even Kamara should be in the top 50.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? It doesn't make it, but it's exactly like Graham says, that look at what's happened by them making this controversial top 100 list. We're now talking about it and taking time, and so are people. They're making posts, they're having conversations, and at a time when, even at this time with the virus going on, football's diminished. Now you got everyone talking about football, and you're all and literally, right? Doesn't matter what team you're a fan of. You're all going to be complaining about the list.
Yeah.
All 32 teams, no matter what player you are, you're going to have a complaint.
3 minutes. I'm going to bring this fucking list up because this is actually...
that's
the thing, Paul, though. That's the thing. They haven't released it all. They bring it out in dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
So they do.
No, they're
100 to 99.
They are right.
They have given the full list, but they've only said the top 10 are these players.
Yeah,
but the one thing I found amazing in the top 10, George Kittle, a tight end. I'm sorry, he does. But he doesn't do the basics. Travis Kelce is
Can he block?
Can't block. And I mean, if you have a tight end who can't block,
right, okay,
he's just a wide receiver.
One I can definitely get with, and I've just looked at it, is number 17, Nick Bosa. He did have an amazing year. He deserves where he needs to be. What else do we have? Half of these players haven't even bloody heard of them, I'm being honest. 29, Quentin Nelson, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, if I throw it another way, right? Our only defensive player is Jalen Smith, who was at number 88, right?
Understandable.
we'd all admit that Jalen is probably not the best defensive player we have. It's DeMarcus Lawrence. And DeMarcus Lawrence is double teamed in every match.
And don't forget, Jalen pretty much had to play 2 roles through that whole season.
Yes, yeah.
So if he was just stuck to his normal position without having to kind of cater for someone else, he could have been ranked even higher.
Yeah. But Marcus Lawrence didn't even make the 100.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how do you have someone who's drawn 2 or 3 players just to make sure they don't impact the game? You know, it makes no sense.
It's all about stats for them.
Yeah.
And it's about creating controversy. You know, that's all it is. But guys, listen, this is the coming to the end now of our special teams.
Wait, hold on a minute here. Ronnie Stanley, Laramie Tunsil, and David Buckley. Piss off.
It worked. It's worked.
We poked the bear.
Yeah.
Are fucking serious?
But look, it's worked. It's worked on you. The mission is complete.
That's exactly what it's there. Because Paul will take to Twitter and he'll talk about it, and then 10 of his pals will talk about it, and 10 of their pals will talk about it.
Yeah, and like and
comments.
Yeah, that's all it's
about.
No
effect.
Absolutely.
It is.
I'm Caesar Alternate to Jason Statham.
But guys, this is the positional breakdown series. The end. Special teams done. Just to give a shout out though before we go and explain next week's show. Shout out to Cowboys Experience, our sponsor. If you're going to go to a game this year, make sure you book it through Cowboys Experience. They have tickets, tours, game packages, and pre-game events that you can go to. Make sure you book your tickets through them. Use the booking code UK Cowboys as well for an extra gift. And also, if you go to the UK Cowboys group, there is a guy who's posted up about making Cowboys and UK Cowboys beer cozies. If you just send him a message, comment, send him a message, tell him you heard us through this, and he will get them sent over to you. I think they're only a couple of quid. And it's something for game day. But guys, the penultimate show all ready and set for next week's show, the final episode of season 1. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is a breakdown of everything that's happened over the last year. We'll have a good laugh with it. We are going to do some posts so everyone can get involved. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But from myself,
all I'm gonna say is this was a great warm up. I've had 3 whiskeys while we've been on air, so this is a great warm up for next week.
Hopefully we get everybody. I'm hoping we can get everyone. You know what it's like. What on earth is he doing?
Anyway.
And that is how we do it at UK Cowboys. It's completely off the cuff, loose and crazy. From myself, from Paul, from Brian, from Graham. We will see you all next week on another episode of UK Cowboys TV.
Peace.
See you next
week.